welcome back to another Coach Dev Academy lap guide video. My name's Bart, and today we'll be taking the Superformer Lights car on iRacing around the Sebring International Raceway. Here's my hot lap. All right, then, crossing the start-finish line at a very bumpy Sebring International Raceway. First thing you're going to do straight away as you're bouncing along the paving here, we want to get right up to the right-hand side wall to enter into the first corner. Massive corner this. Best way to prepare for it, by the end of this white line, try and be at the wall. So you can see over here, get to the wall. The wall's also going to go out as well, so don't just be straight with the wall from the start. Actually meet it at its widest point out here. Looking in, there's this white line that's, again, not really the track limit because the track limit is the wall. But the white line's a good reference for where you should be kind of putting the car. This is a weird corner because you normally think, okay, I want to turn a bit later and open up the corner a bit more, but you just take so much extra distance by going in a bit too deep, and you also end up bouncing a bit more. So here, you want to be turning, you'll be turning flat out before the end of the wall, and I'm aiming to get the cut in here. We'll see in a second. So turn in flat out. Small brake down to fifth. You see here, I'm near the yellow line on the inside at this point. There's that cone over there, aiming to meet the inside yellow line here. Get close to the wall at this point where the cone is. This is your apex, if you want to call it that. Should be full throttle by this point. To be honest, you should be full throttle quite a bit back before you even reach the wall. You should be basically at full throttle. Such a long corner. All about carrying that speed. Like I said, fifth gear, lots of speed, high downforce, and you'll get a good exit just by pushing and getting to that throttle nice and early. It's very easy here to go too wide, so just make sure you're, I don't want to say turn in early here because it's not really fair, but you don't want to end up taking extra distance by pushing the braking too late. Turning flat out, I found, is a good way to make sure you don't run too wide. So turn in flat out and then do the braking as you're going into the corner. Otherwise, you just kind of end up taking too much distance. All right, use all the curb on the exit. Bring the car back into the white line here. Position the car so it's straight with this white line. Don't keep turning. The wheel needs to be straight here, please. At least a car length before you hit the brake. This second cone, or this two cone we have here, is a very good reference, pretty much braking just before it. Down to third gear into the second corner now. You can see we're in quite early, but the way the shape of the track is and the bumps are, even though I technically meet the inside line over here somewhere, I can't actually make it in. You don't really want to strike the inside curb because it bounces you, especially in this car, quite a lot. So it'll pick the car up and put you out of position out of here somewhere. And we don't really want that. We want to meet the end. You see where the line goes from yellow to white. We want to be right here. Right here is where we want to get to. On throttle by this point. Really try to attack the entry on that turn too as well, because know it sounds obvious and might seem stupid in a way, but it's a corner where you're going very fast in and there's not a long straight after it. So if you take off a lot of speed, it's hard to build that speed back up again. Whereas if you push the entry, you're carrying, that advantage of you're going very fast. And if you brake late, you're fast all the way through the braking zone, always returning, and you should just get it stopped, just get to the inside. I understand the bumps and things make it tricky there, but really try and push the entry into that left-hander. Also, if you're early hit in that left, you'll get on throttle early and probably end up striking this curb, so not ideal. I do like to sometimes take this curb to position to the right here, but it's so bouncy in this car, it can cause you to almost spin, so a bit tricky. All right, go through here. You see, I do actually hit the curb on this occasion. So lift, if you take any more than that, you just lose too much speed. So you can see here, I don't put the floor of the car on the curb, just the right-hand side tires. Lift a little bit just to get the car over to the right. Try and get as close as you can to that right-hand side curb or the white line on the right-hand side. This car, you're so late on the brakes. It's past about a car length past the end of that curb. It's where you start braking. Braking a straight line kind of towards the edge of this piece of tarmac here, this lighter part of tarmac. Brake, really light brake, just enough to get turned in, okay? It's like how late and how little can I brake for this corner? Especially late. How late can I be and still make it pretty much the inside curve, just away from it? You see here, you want to meet the inside curve here, or meet the yellow line here. I just clip the curve there, barely. Full throttle, pretty much at that point, you see just fighting the car a little bit, right on the edge of the exit curb. It's raised initially, then it comes back down, so just watch out for that. Really important to get a good exit there. So that's why it's important to be late. Okay, if you're in early there, you're going to have a lot of steering on, and you're going to get big snaps on the exit. Try to be late so you open up the exit of that corner. It's such a long corner; it's way too easy to be early. So prepare, patient. Yeah, focus on that exit. Okay, hold the car to the right, shorten the distance. Let it go to the left now. Be in a straight line for the brake into this hairpin here. Good braking reference. You've got the 3 cone and then the 2 cone. Braking pretty much in the middle of these two. Hard hit the brakes, straight line braking down to second gear. Really patient to turn the car. It's quite a bouncy braking zone, so you see these bumps we've got. So you might modulate the brakes a little bit to avoid locking up. The other thing you can do is keep the car straight. If you start turning a bit early and creeping towards the inside the corner, you're going to make the car lock up easily, because as soon as the tires have to turn as well as do the braking on these bumps, that's when you lock up, run deep, make mistakes. Being consistent here. Straight as possible, please. Straight. Okay. Run deep until you pretty much get to the point where the track starts going to the right. This line here is quite a good reference here, this split in the paving. Turning in, once you get it, you really have to get the speed lowered as well. I really want to emphasize, you really have to slow the car down the straight line. This is true for every corner, okay, but especially here. The grip level is quite low at this hairpin, and if you turn in with much speed at all or with some brake on, you'll just understeer. You just lock the inside front as you go into this camber change, or you slide the car, and you just have so much understeer. You push for ages, and then you're fighting the car on the exit. You get a crap exit. So patient, really efficient straight line braking into here. Wait, off, and just make it to the inside curve, or not even. It should just be the yellow line here. All right, lots of lock on at this point. Wait for the car to get turned. Pick up the throttle just before, because we're in second, not first. Okay, so as soon as you get on throttle, it's not like it's going to wheel spin straight away. So you can see I get on throttle just before, and by the time I'm in the power band and the revs have picked up a bit, I've got the wheel straight. Get the steering off. Should be a fight just to keep the car on the track here. You go in the dirt a little bit there. It's not too bad. Keep the car to the right-hand side now. Shorten the distance. Now off the steering. Again, smooth the wheels, shorten the distance. Prepare the car, bring it to the left-hand side for the next braking zone. Really important here. There's some bumps there a bit earlier, but now we go to the white line. Braking. Again, pretty much in the middle or just a bit before this 2 cone. Really hard straight line braking once again. Down to second. It is doable in third, but depending on gearing and some other things in this car, third bogs a little bit and gives you quite a bit of understeer. Second is a little bit, you have to make sure you get the wheel straight, but I think it's a little bit better on average. All right, down to second gear. Late. Okay, we need to come around the back of this corner, so we really need to try and meet the yellow line around this side here. Be late, and you can see it's off camber. If you're in early, you pick up a lot of understeer here, and you struggle on traction. So you've got to be very patient with the car on the entry. A bit like the last corner. Okay, on throttle. Now come off the steering as much as you can initially. Even if it feels like, oh, I'm going to run off the track, just come off the steering because you're going to get wheel spin here, just the shape of the corner. That's how it is. Be forced to meet the white line on the outside. Take a little bit of curb here. Just help with the car around. Otherwise, you kind of have to turn right and then left, and it's just a bit awkward. So let the car run out there. Get the steering off. Try and take the weight out of the car. Take the weight out of the car. Keep to the left. Take that curb bit if you want. Hold it to the left, 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 left. Flat through there easily. Now, again, get the car straight before you hit the brakes now. See for a car length there. I had the car straight. Braking at the 2 cone. Straight line braking down to 3rd. Should be releasing the brakes just before you kind of get to the split in the paving here. Turn in. Never, ever want to hit that apex curb. You shouldn't be anywhere near it. See, I've got about tire width between me and it there. Again, late. Get the car straight so you haven't got much steering on for the exit when you're on throttle. On throttle. Off the steering, off the steering, off the steering. Smooth. Use all the curbing on the exit. Okay, straight line now. Just chill out for a bit. Make the straightest line possible through here. We don't need to turn. Wait till we get past that curb. Turning smooth to the left. Keep the car to the left-hand side now. Again, braking reference the 2nd cone pretty much. The 2 cone. Braking just after that. Down to 4th gear. Not a very heavy brake. This corner, again, there's a long straight in 2 corners time, but in this bit here, it's important to carry momentum. Once you kill the speed here by braking a bit too much, you never get it back. And you don't need to keep the car tight to the right-hand side on the exit so we can let the car run deep. Just carry speed, carry speed, carry speed as much as you can and push the entry here. 4th gear. Again, not a very heavy brake. You don't really want to be on the curb. As you can see, it's quite a big curb for a car like this to be taking. You can definitely touch it, but you shouldn't be over the inside of this curb. This edge is too steep. The floor definitely shouldn't be on the curb, and the tire should not be on the higher edge of it at all. All right, you should just meet it here. It should be difficult. Okay, you should be carrying enough speed that it should be difficult to get the car into the line here. Okay, wait, patient, get to full throttle just when you can. Crack the throttle open, and you'll be forced out again all the way to the left-hand side of the track here. And you can see I'm just going to turn left and just hook the car around this curb a little bit. Ideally, okay, you can avoid it a little bit, but I do find sometimes there if you're really pushing and keeping the car to the left, you might just have to take a little bit of that curve. Just watch out for that because it can upset the car as well. Very important here. As soon as that curb ends, left, left, left. No track limits here. Important to open up this right-hander as much as possible. It's super bumpy, but the more you can open it up, the better. Long exit here, okay? So this is where we need to focus on our exit. So if we can gain or get a bit of a more open exit just from using this track on the left-hand side, it's going to make a big, big, big difference down the long straight. Okay, get the car to the left, a bit bouncy here. Braking just before this kind of line here. Again, not much in the way of references, but this is the best you got. I'd just be looking towards the apex. You don't really want to be all over the inside curb. The inside curb here creates a lot of understeer. It kind of picks the car up, pushes you wide. So again, you need to be late here. Not a very heavy brake. If you brake hard here, you'll lock up or slide the car. So it's not a very heavy brake for me, just a soft brake, just enough to get the car in. 4th gear. You can try 3rd at first, but I think 4th's definitely better for carrying speed. But you can definitely begin in 3rd. Just clip the curb a little bit here. This is right on the edge. Pretty much on throttle by the time you get to the inside. You don't really want to be on that curb for too long. It's going to throw the car off. Pick up the throttle, push the car away from the curb. Can't have the steering. Use all the exit curb here. Quickly bring the car back across so we don't sit in the grass. That'll get you an off track and will also cost you a bit of time. That curb's quite tall. You don't want to sit in it for too long. But again, using all of it does help this exit here. So you definitely want to maximize that. Okay, all the way to the left-hand side now for the last corner, Sunset Bend. So, bit of telemetry for us to get a look at. It is actually good, by the way. You can see this little lift I make here. That's on that curb I mentioned to stop spitting out, to help that inside wheel a little bit. But more importantly, good to have a look here into the final corner. Check out our braking. See here we've got speed, throttle, brake, and then steering down here. And what I want to focus on mainly, you can see the line in the top right as well, which gives you a good idea of how we're trying to straighten up the braking phase. We are flat out up to this point. Getting on the brakes, but we're very smooth with how we go about it. This is to avoid locking up, okay? Yes, it's very fast corner. I want to keep the speed up, blah, blah, blah. Cool. The grip level is low. The grip level is low and we're not straight in the braking phase at all on this corner, and it's very bumpy, which means the car's skipping like this. The tire can't push into the ground. It's just jumping. So if you hit the brakes, guess what happens? The tire slides over a bump. You'll lose grip, gain grip, lose grip, gain grip. You'll be like this. You just feel a loss of grip at the rear or the front, probably the rear, and then the front. and then you'll end up wide and you'll be going, what the hell happened? So to avoid that, what can we do? Okay, smooth on the steering. You see, turning in here. On the brakes, careful. I know I'm steering at this point, so I'm not going the brakes very hard. See, it's 10%, 15%, something like that. Just easy onto the brakes. Now you see I come off the steering. See up here is 9%, something like that. I'm trying to straighten it up as much as possible, down to 4% at this point, 4-5%, just to get some more efficiency in this phase of the braking zone. As I'm going through the right hander, try and get the steering off as much as possible. Leaning on the brakes a little bit more as it's slowing down, and those bumps on the entry, they get a little bit better in that next phase of the corner as you stop crossing different types of tarmac. You can kind of straighten up, slow the car down a little bit. You can get a little bit more pressure on the brakes, and then this is the point where I start properly turning into the corner. Okay, you can see I start beginning my release of the brakes, just releasing the brakes, turning. Still on the brakes a little bit at this point. Just, again, having to slow it down, fifth, then fourth gear. It's such a long corner, and the whole time you're just trying to bring the nose in. If you jump off the brakes really early, you'll find you get a lot of understeer further in the corner because you've kind of let the nose come up too early. The other thing as well is it's easy to run a lot of speed in, too much speed in doing that. So you can see I'm just trailing a little bit of brake right up until the middle of the corner until I know I'm pretty much just about ready to go on the throttle. At this point, off the brake, it's a long lazy brake. At any other corner, this would be a terrible brake shape. This is the least efficient braking you've ever seen, but it's just trying to brake the car of that long distance while still maintaining the momentum and not overusing the tire. It's the main thing. Trying to not over push the tire while still stopping the car late and keeping the speed up through the corner. So it's really smooth brake, just controlling the car. And then as soon as we go through, bang, pretty effortless. You can see I'm finding a little bit towards the end of the range there, but should be that much. It should never feel like at this corner either that you got all this lock on the middle of the corner. You should be rotating a little bit with the brake, and the car should be kind of shuffling through. It shouldn't be like, okay, I've stopped the car, but bang, put the lock on and then off. It shouldn't be like that at all. And then pick a reference here. You've got the yellow line on the inside. You've got these cones. I like to point the car this way is what I like to think. It's kind of diagonal when I'm braking. So I'm turning here. You can see I've got like 45 degrees, steering on an even 30 degrees, something like that. Turning here. I'm just going to try and straighten the car up as much as possible. Soft little brake. Point the car out to here. This is going to be my widest point. I'm going to start turning in from here. So what I did before is not really turning. It's just positioning the car flat out. Now try and get the steering off as much as possible. Yeah, we're turning a little bit, but we're trying to be as straight as possible under braking to be efficient. Okay, down to fourth gear. Turn in off that widest point. Again, like I said, it's about this point here between these sets of cones at the white line. You can see there's kind of points as well on the white line are quite good references. Being out here, turn in, release the brake, get the car in kind of towards the inside wall. You won't really make it all the way, or you shouldn't really. It's quite a big bump if you're in early here, so watch out for that. You can see there the car's bouncing on the throttle. Pretty much when you reach that apex point near the inside wall for the bridge on throttle. And then at this point, just try to reduce the steering as much as possible, as quickly as possible without hitting the outside wall. It's tricky because if you end up out wide too early, you end up on in the marbles where there's no grip. So you don't want to end up too wide, but you do still want to try and get the lock out of the car and carry as much speed as possible. Force the car up to the outside wall. The banking should help you a little bit here. Flat out now towards the line. Hold the car on the left at the end of a quali lap. And that's a lap of Sebring International Raceway. Alright then, that brings us towards the end of the video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. And you can also find a link to the Coach Dave Academy Discord in the YouTube video description. My name is Bart. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next week. See ya!